Jaya Rama DRAVIDA Jaya Gopi Jamal Iskcon be found the return Shri Prabhupada Jai. Paramahamsa Navigacharya Astotra the Shishima, the Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Holy Month of Karti Ki Jai. All glories to the sum of the devotees. All glories to the sum of the devotees. All glories to Guru and Brahma. Hare Krishna. I'm happy to be here tonight with all of you. And we're going to be speaking a little bit about Kartika, Holy Month of Kartik. But I'd like to start with a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th chapter, 1st canto. This is a prayer of Queen Kunti. Or was it this? No, last night I think we read a verse, another prayer of Queen Kunti's, in which she remembers the Damodar Leela. Some of you may have been at the ED program we were at. Also, kind of a motherly relationship to Krishna, although she's his actual aunt. So here in this verse, she describes the qualifications of calling out to Krishna with deep feeling. So we'll explore this verse. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaga Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should offer our respectful obeisances to Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To Narayan, wishing the supremest human beings. To Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and to Srila Prabhupada, the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Nashta Prayasha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Kirtama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering devotional service to the pure devotee, consciousness within the heart is destroyed almost to nil, and loving devotion to the Supreme Lord who is glorified in transcendental songs is established as a miracle fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this 15th day of October 2017 in Phoenix at the Sunday Feast, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Chapter 8, the prayers of Queen Kunti. 6. Some of you may know this verse, you can chant along. Janmaishraya Shrutashridhir
Janmaishwarya Shrutishribhir
Edaman Madakumam
Edamanam Madakuman
Naivarhatsa Vidhatum Vai
Naivarhatsa Vidhatum Vai
Tamakinchana Gocharam.
Tamakinchana Gocharam.
Translation. She's speaking directly to Krishna. My Lord, to be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted, of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot address you. Purport. Being materially advanced means taking birth in an aristocratic family and possessing great wealth and education and attractive personal beauty. Persons are mad after possessing all these material opulences, and this is known as the advancement of material civilization. But the result is that by possessing all these material assets, one becomes artificially puffed up by such temporary possessions. Consequently, such materially puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly. O Govinda, O Krishna. It is said in the Shastras that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency. There is a quality to such utterances also. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless person can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a person who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering it in quality. 4 principles of material advancement, namely 1, high parentage, 2, great wealth, 3, high education, duty are, so to speak, for progress on the path of spiritual advancement. The material covering of the pure spirit soul is an external feature, as much as a fever is an external feature of the unhealthy body. The general process is to decrease the degree of fever by maltreatment. Sometimes it is seen that spiritually advanced persons become materially impoverished. This is no discouragement. On the other hand, such impoverishment is a good sign as much as the falling temperature is a good sign. The principle of life should be to decrease the degree of material intoxication, which leads one to be more and more illusioned about the aim of life. Grossly illusioned persons are quite unfit for entrance into the kingdom of God. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandjana Shalakya Chakshu Unmidatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance to him and to all members of Sri Parampara, the disciplic succession. So, how does this verse relate to our celebration of this Damodar month and our special observances of Damodar? Well, as soon as you enter into this Damodar, which we're going to sing in a few minutes, you'll see that there's a high level of feeling there. The Satyavrata Muni who composed it, he prays ardently that the Lord will bestow his blessing on him. He doesn't want liberation. He doesn't even care about the spiritual world. He simply wants that beautiful form of Damodar and it will be forever manifest in his heart. He also says a little later, he's very desperate that the Lord will shower his mercy on and be visible, become visible to his eyes. You see? So this is the nature of all of the genuine utterances and prayers and songs and stotras by pure devotees. There's a tremendous amount of feeling there. You can hear it when Prabhupada sings bhajan. He's singing from the heart. Whether it's a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in which he says, I've wasted my whole life. What have I done? Bhaktivinoda is taking the role of the conditioned soul. You know, Gopinath, that song, Gopinath, 3 parts. Bereft here. The idea is there's a certain mood called daimya. Daimya, when one feels oneself very helpless, very well neglected, forgotten, separate from the Lord. And in this mood, one calls out with deep feeling that Krishna will save us and bring us up. Some of you may be familiar with the prayers of Chaitanya Prabhu in the Shikshastika. Right? I namnatanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam modham kripaya tapapada pankaja stitadhuri sabasham vachindaya. Your servant for eternity, I lost my true identity and fell into this horrid sea of birth and death, O Lord. O Nanda's son, please hear my plea. By your sweet grace, consider me a speck of dust upon your lotus feet forevermore. My own little attempt at poetry. What Chaitanya is teaching us, he's Krishna himself, but he's teaching us how to pray. And this same prayerful, supplicating mood should be carried over into our chanting of the holy name. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is really meant to be prayer, ardent prayer. It's just like a child separated from his mother, calling out in desperation for its mother. I told us those stories. Some of you, I'll tell it again since there's new people here. I grew up in Long Island, New York, and during the summer, every Sunday, my father would take my mother and my brother and myself out to the beach, Jones Beach. It's called southern. It's part of the southern island. Very, very crowded. You know, it's like Coney Island. It's hardly a place to put down your little camp. So inevitably, you know, there'd be so many little kids running around. So one kid would get separated from the mother. Both the child and the mother would become desperate. You know, but maybe it's a little ways away. And so the child is running, and we take the kid, give it to the lifeguard. He's up on this big stand, and it shows like this to the mother, to everybody, is it? And the mother is looking, oh, there's my child, and comes running, and the child says, oh, Mom, is it? So this kind of desperation, both on the part of the mother and the child, but especially the child, because we're the ones who are wandering, lost in this world. This is how we should chant. This is how we should call out to Krishna. We should really feel. Now, we have to understand, we have to come in contact with the pure devotee, the writing, the teachings, so that we have faith that Krishna really is God, not just God, but that he's our dearmost friend, our dearmost master. Our natural state is to be with him in the spiritual world, in a position of serving him with love and feeling the reciprocation coming. This is what's going on in the spiritual world. We are living an artificial life. This world is like a dream world. It's compared to a reflection. It's compared to a mirage in the Srimad Bhagavatam. You know, the Srimad Bhagavatam in Sanskrit is a wonderful language. The word for mirage, Mriga Trishna, that which the animal thirsts after. In other words, is foolish. Run out into the desert looking for water. You have a lot of desert around here. I'm sure that when you're driving during the hot days, you see the water on the boat. And it's not really there. You know, it's not really there, right? So this material world, now it's here, but it's not what we think it is. Just like there's some kind of an atmospheric vent going on that causes the mirage. We see the water, which is an illusion. So the happiness in this world, it's just a mirage. You can experience it to a little degree, but then it's gone. As Krishna says, Adyantavanta Kunteya. It has a beginning and an end. And it is the source of your suffering. This is a very depressing thought for someone who's trying to enjoy this world. Whatever enjoyment you have, that itself is the source of your suffering. This is straight from the Bhagavad Gita. Statement by Krishna. He says, whatever enjoyments you're getting from sense gratification, and that includes subtle, the mind, subtle enjoyments. That is the source of your misery. Now, the basic reason is it will keep you coming back. Without any Krishna consciousness, people lead material life. What is it? One thing after another. You go through life, your desires change as your body matures and changes. I'd like to point out from my own life, I have these examples. When I was 8 years old, the only thing I desired in life was a bicycle. That was it. That was my most ardent desire among all the little kids. And suddenly my range of activity widened tremendously. I could drive here, go here, go there. And that lasted maybe a couple of years, you know. And then I got into 8th grade, and you know, after a while, and I had other concerns, and the bike gradually gathered dust in the cellar. Other desires, they keep coming as you go older. So this is think of your life. You know, there's a constant change and transformation. And some of the things that give us great pleasure, of course, they last for years, family, relations, experience, that eventually these will also become attenuated. I remember my mother lived way into her old age, 96. And I would visit her several times a year, especially when I was living in Miami in the 80s. She was living in New York. So I would fly up there. They had this cheap flight, like $65 round trip at that time. And her main concern, as all mothers are you healthy? Are you happy? If you're healthy and happy, your parents are sad. You know, she's always trying to feed you. I'm 50, she's like 75 or whatever. And still she sees me as a little child. Now this is also true for Krishna. You remember when, you know, of course he has his wonderful childhood pastimes. We'll be meditating on that this month. Right? He's actually a little baby in Gokula, right? And Mother Yashoda is it. But then, how many years? 100 years? Was it 70? The Krishna still looks like a young boy. And so then there's a meeting in Kurukshetra. Later on, Krishna's in Dwarka, and all the residents of Vrindavan, they've been pining for Krishna for so many years. They never gave up on him. See, spiritual love is not like material love. Time can't affect it. All of the gopis were left in the lurch, and he started his life in maturity, married so many queens. So ordinary thing, oh, you know, that rogue Krishna, you know, we'll get some other boyfriend now. He left us. Never, never. Their whole life, they're pining for Krishna. Relationship never breaks. So then, so many years later, they meet Krishna at Kurukshetra. There's a total eclipse. Now, unlike what they thought with this total eclipse, it's inauspicious. You know, the eclipses are not. So in order to counteract, they would go to Kurukshetra, where you have Samantha Panchaka, that were created by Parashuram many years earlier. And it's auspicious to bathe in them to counteract the effect of the eclipse. But for whatever reason, Krishna came there with all his queens and all of the chariots. And the residence also was much closer. They came up from Vrindavan, right? You can easily get. So now after all these years, they had a reunion, very emotional. Before the gopis, he met the gopis, he saw his mother and his father. And the mother, Yashoda, she takes Krishna on the lap, and she's still with the tears. She's seeing him as a little child. That's what always is. Is it? So this is the nature of now that's of course transcendental, and that continues eternally. But the point is that ultimately the material relationships must end and bring great disappointment. Relationships with each other, but relationships with this body, which is our dearmost possession, and everything else. And this is the real tragedy and the great pain of material life, is that it keeps changing and we have to start all over again in another body. The way out of this is the process of devotional service. This is it has always been and it will always be that way. The process of yoga, to withdraw the senses from these material engagements and not suppress them, but sublimate, to engage them in service of Krishna. And the best way in this age is chanting the holy name. That's why I picked this verse. Because Srila Prabhupada is explaining here how we can chant successfully, have to chant Hare Krishna, feeling that we want to call Krishna to please save us from this ocean or from this well of material life. There's many verses that come to mind as describe this world as an ocean or as a deep well that we're kind of trapped in and we forget. One that comes to mind, let me see if I can remember this from Uddhava. Uddhava was a dear friend of Krishna's, associated in Mathura. Lord Krishna sent him to Vrindavan to learn the highest levels of bhakti from the gopis and also to deliver a message. He was present with Krishna near the end of Krishna's manifestation, and he received the Uddhava Gita, that's Krishna's last instructions, which parallel the Bhagavad Gita. So in this Uddhava Gita, as it progresses, as in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks questions. So Uddhava also asked questions, and he encouraged Krishna to keep speaking and please keep pouring this nectar. Right? So in one verse, one interlude there in the 11th canto, he has this prayer, and it's very instructive actually, taking the role, as they often do, as a conditioned soul who's being enlightened by Krishna. So he says, Dashtam janam sampatitam videsmin kalahina chudda sukodatarshana samudharainam kripaya avagir pachobira sinchamahanava. So dashtam means bitten. I'm just like, I've fallen into this hole, this kind of a snake hole in the material world, and I'm being bitten by the snake of time. Time is always threatening us with destruction, right? So dashtam janam sampatitam, totally fallen. Kalahina, kala means the snake of time. And yet, and here's something we can really relate to, in spite of being in this condition, dangerous condition, I still have great thirst, great desire for insignificant sense gratification. Difficult, impossible situation. Is it? And that desire really covers our knowledge of the situation. So what's the way out? So he says to Krishna, please pull me out of this well. How? By sprinkling upon me, pouring upon me instruction. The way out of this conundrum. We need to be receptive, and we need to hear the words of the Acharya, which means Srila Prabhupada's books and all of the great souls who appear in the Bhagavatam, and the words of Rupa Goswami and the Nectar Devotion. This is our saving grace. If we're receptive to that message, then we can develop the faith in the process of bhakti and the Krishna and in the process of chanting. And then we should come regularly to the temple like this and get the sadhu sangha. I was originally going to speak on another verse from Gita, and I also referred to it there. That sangha is really the essential thing. We're associating now with people, with things, with the objects of the senses, with our own mind. And that sangha, if it's materially tainted by the modes of nature, that keeps us bound here. That keeps us in a material frame of mind to try to make our way in this material world, try to enjoy life here. But if we get sadhu sangha, if we get association of the great saints, and what is the value? We will hear their words. We will hear their instruction. And by their instruction, they can cut off our deep attachment to the things of this world. This is a Krishna's instruction to Uddhava in a different part of the Uddhava Gita. The Dato Duk Sangha Mutsurja Satsu Sajjeta Buddhima Sangha Evasa Chindandi Manovyasana Uktabi. So he's saying there that one should very much reject bad association, materialistic association. Now, in this modern age, it means not only person to person, but it comes through so much media. We know. Association means we're hearing materialistic sounds and images that keep us bewildered, that don't remind us of Krishna, but make us forget Krishna. So here's a Duk Sangam, bad associate, give it up, Utsurya, throw it away, and associate with devotees. Again, through media, books, most prominently. The sounds, we have Srila Prabhupada's lectures and so many other lectures by advanced Vaishnavas. Just get out to the Iskcon Desire Tree. You can download, you can have a year's worth. Everything's available. So, Satsu Sanjita Buddhiman, be intelligent. Saints, what's the advantage? Sandevasa Chindandi Manovyasad Muktadi. With their words, they can cut off the deeply impacted material desires that we have been harboring for millions of years. By their powerful words. And those words are in abundance in Srila Prabhupada's books. Kunti is giving us good words here. So in this purport, Prabhupada makes it very clear. Someone who's too much absorbed in the material enterprise, getting a lot of money and enjoying it in various ways, we should pity the hedge fund managers, the Wall Street guys, who from the moment they wake up, the moment they take rest, they sink down and slumber. They're thinking of what's the price of this. Can you imagine? Now with LinkedIn, there's so many computers, you can tell what the price is in Singapore and in Delhi and what the speaker is. Losing money, I have to know. Right? So the mind is always absorbed. Constant remembrance of money, my gains and my losses. This is a hellish mentality. It keeps us bound very tightly. So we're meant to live as simply as possible, really. In the second chapter, first canto. That life's desire should not be directed toward enjoying the senses. Rather, one should live as simply as possible. And then what should you use your vital energy for? Inquiring into the absolute truth. Jigyasa, it's like the first sutra of the Vedanta Sutra. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. The human life, especially, we're all human beings here, is a great, rare thing. And not just human beings, but you're sitting in a temple of Krishna. There's millions and billions of human beings out there who never heard of Krishna and wouldn't come to a temple in a million years. So you have the inspiration to learn these things and to practice and to come closer to Krishna. He's saying, use it. Don't waste time. Another verse in Uddhava Gita, two I'll share with you. I love these two verses. First is, in this verse is Vikshayasa. Arjuna uses this also, the word Shreyas. Shreyas is the ultimate benefit of the soul, benefit of the body. That's called prayas. Shreyas or prayas. So Vikshayasa means the ultimate good of the soul. This is what we should strive for. You attain the human form of life after coming through so many species. Most of you are familiar with this understanding of karma, reincarnation, coming up to. So we've attained the human form. Very rare. And like all other forms, it's temporary. Living in these bodies is very long, relatively speaking. But it has one great quality. It can give the final goal of life. What is it? Artha. Artha means the great value. And we should be concerned. Artha also means money, whatever you value. But here especially, swa-artha or svartha, which most people are completely ignorant of. So one has to be dhira. One has to be sober-minded and think about these eternal truths. And then, turnam yateta napateta namitya vikshayasaya. Delay. Turna means without delay, strive. Because death is always following you. Anumitya. We don't know how long we have to live. So we have to use the time very judiciously. That's one of the qualities of a devotee. Don't waste time. And because in all the other forms we've been through, in all the other human lives, who knows how many millions of births, we've experienced every variety of sense gratification. We already experienced it. Don't use this life for it. Don't waste this human form of life. Now, in another verse, very instructive, it compares the human body, especially, to a nicely constructed boat to take us across the ocean of birth and death. Nirdehamatam, sulabam sudurlabam, plabam sukalpam, gurukarna bhavam, mayanukulena napasvite vitam, puman bhavapim natare saatmaha. Says the human body, nirdeham, is like a nicely constructed boat. We've got everything. We got the intelligence, the senses. We're equipped. But we need a guru. It's like one of these sailboats. You have to have a guru to go to the right. Otherwise, you go around in circles. So we have the captain. We need a captain, and we have the guru. But we need favorable winds. Those are the words that Krishna speaks in the Vedas. He says, Mayanu Kulyena Navasanteti. So now, with all of these facilities, the nice boat of the body, the nice captain in the form of the guru, the nice winds, favorable winds in Krishna's instructions, if we don't cross this ocean, we waste this opportunity. We're atmaha. We're committing spiritual suicide. Of course, we never die, but we wasted time, and we have to wait until we can become human beings to get this favorable condition. So these are some very potent instructions by Krishna. Opportunity. This Kali Yuga is not like all the other Kali Yugas. The day of Brahma. Who can give me the approximate time of the day of Brahma? 24 hours, It's over 8 billion years. Because day and night, 4 billion, 3 billion times 2. So once in all that time, Krishna personally comes to this earth. Now, there's many other universes. He's always appearing in one or other. But our particular little universe, he comes once every 8 billion years. And after he comes, Lord Chaitanya comes. Otherwise, Kali Yuga is always there, but you don't have this benefit of Lord Chaitanya. So we're so fortunate. Practically yesterday, 5,000 years. You're talking 8 billion, but what's 5,000 years? So practically we're contemporaries. What's the big of Lord Chaitanya? That was 500 somebody. So we have this great opportunity. Yatra Sankirtana, those who know, there's a verse in Bhagavatam, Kalin Sabhaji Jaya Guna Yat Sadabhaginaha. Yatra Sankirtane Vaya Saiva, Sarva Swarta Vilabhite. There's that word Sparta again. Understand things, who are Aryans, they worship this Kali Yuga. Because in this Kali Yuga, just by the process of Sankirtan, congregational chanting of the holy name, all of one's desires, real needs can be fulfilled. In other words, one can become free of the bondage of this world and go back to that. So this is a great month. This month of Kartik is especially potent for devotional service. Just to let you know, any service you do, coming to the temple, offering a little ghee-lamp, which we're going to do shortly, singing those prayers, it's 1,000 times more benefit than in other times of the year. So that's very positive. But you should also know, the message you make is also 1,000 times. So be very careful. In this month, you should try to follow a little more strictly, chant more rounds, take some extra vows, and definitely sing the song every day. And in this way, we can try to enter into this mood of this verse, which is to call upon Krishna very feelingly from the heart, because we really are in a difficult situation. We're in the grips of that snake of time all around. Kunti says, there's vippada, there's danger everywhere. Padam padam vippada. So don't waste any time. Let's become serious about Krishna consciousness. The principles as they've been so magnificently given to us by Srila Prabhupada and all the great saints who came before him and after him. So we have a great opportunity, and I'll open it up to any questions if you have any. 2 poems. Yes, Prabhu.
You just mentioned about specific for this Kartik month.
Yes.
And that if you do good deed or bad deed, regardless. No.
Everything is exaggerated, multiplied, yeah.
Why is it?
This is a special month, the month of Kartik, that it has been, Srimati Radharani is the goddess of this month. And it has been blessed, Krishna does these things because it's the month also where the Rasa dance took place. It's the month where this Damodar Leela took place. And it's just an extra chance. Just like there are so many auspicious times of the day. If we get up early and we come the Brahma Muhurta hour before sunrise is a very auspicious time. It's easier to practice spiritual practices at that time. And so we're enjoying, Srila Prabhupada taught us, okay, we have the Mangalarti at 4:30 and come up. So those who are living in the temple are very serious, they get up early. Because it's a very auspicious time. And you'll find if you regularly do that, that you can your spiritual practices will be more potent. If you try to do it later in the day, you're chanting, so many things distracting you like that. So it's month. And many devotees who can, they go to Vrindavan, then they really feel the potency. You know, there's thousands and thousands of pilgrims in Vrindavan, and many from Iskcon, many from other places. And performing extra austerities, eating once a day. You know, today's Ekadashi, following strictly Ekadashi. Like today, if I begin to faint a little bit, catch me. I haven't eaten anything all day. You know, I'm just kidding. But the point is that it helps. You know, all these austerities help because you're doing it for Krishna. It's not for some material purpose, but it's for Krishna. So this is a very good time of the month to up the ante a little bit, get a little more, do a little bit more than we've been doing. Chant more and do some things less. You can all make your own list. Anything else? Anyone else? Okay, we're not through. I'm going to give you a poem now because this is, I've been advertised, so I should give you something. So, we should offer our obeisance to Srila Prabhupada. I put his pranam mantra into a little poem. Om, I bow to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, whose mission is to teach the art of purely serving God. To Krishna, no one on this earth can be more dear than he. For at Shri Krishna's lotus feet he dwells eternally. Obeisances to you, O prime disciple of your Lord, Sri Saraswati Thakur, wielder of the preaching sword. By preaching Lord Chaitanya's words, you save these Western lands from voidism, impersonalist creeds, and all such shams. So that's Prabhupada's pranam mantra. Now, I'd like to share another one with you. This one actually began as something I wrote for Vyasa Puja Day, which falls right after Janmashtami, as you may know. And because I'm involved with book production and book distributors, so it has a little angle toward giving it, book distribution. But that's the central desire of Srila Prabhupada. So this is, you'll hear this. Oh, Prabhupada, on this great day, so it's like, take yourself to Vyasa Puja Day. Oh, Prabhupada, on this great day when you appear just like a ray, effulgence bright, to give this blind world back its sight. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts and pray with deepest love that we may serve your lotus feet in every circumstance we meet. As years go by and books go out, we see what life is all about. To serve your mission and our Lord's by spreading wide your sacred words. As well, you want us all to strive to let those words direct our lives. This safest path will lead us home, no more in Maya's realm to run. Lord Pranandi, Hari Hari Bol. So if you'll allow me, there's one poem that always seems to strike a note, and that is the Fall and Redemption of the Soul. How many have heard that one before? Oh, good. So let me, because I'm fasting, so my brain is a little slower. I'm gonna have to search for it and get the basic. It won't take long. All right. So how did this poem come about? I like to tell the story of this poem. I'm an editor, all these years, and I'm always swimming in different words, dictionaries, thesaurus, all this stuff. So I come across interesting words all the time. So one you may or may not know about is the word cupidity. Cupidity is a good word for us. Cupidity obviously has an element of lust involved, but it's come to mean greed in the dictionary. If you look it up, that'll be the first definition. A nice mix of 50-50, lust and greed, things we want to try to avoid in Krishna consciousness, but things which actually can affect us and bind us to this world. So now I knew this one. Now, what rhymes with stupidity? Raise your hand. Stupidity, right? So when I saw, I said, well, this is the seed of a poem. So I pulled out my trusty, not the source, but the rhyming dictionary. I don't know if you know about that. There's a rhyming dictionary. If you want to rhyme something, you can look it up. It's online. You can look online. So I've discovered there are many, many words that end in ity in English. city and sanity and all these different words. So I took a bunch of those and I put them all together, and here's what I came up with. This is a meditation on the fall and redemption of the soul. So all of us are on this, trying to go back to God. Where Krishna lives, felicity abounds with pure simplicity and loving sensibility, all serving with humility. But when a living entity rejects true identity, and out of sheer stupidity surrenders to cupidity, he loses all sagacity, and with it all capacity to understand reality or curb his sensuality. In humility, he touts his own ability, forgetting his fragility and fortune's volatility. In asininity, for what seems an infinity of lives devoid of piety, he suffers an anxiety till contact with God's devotee, perhaps of utmost brevity, awakens his affinity for words of the divinity. Perceiving the futility of all his imbecility, the soul regains his sanity and casts away his vanity. Endowed with new humility, he serves with all ability and growing spontaneity his guru and the deity. Regaining his identity, the wayward living entity returns to the fraternity of Krishna for eternity. Now, in different terms, I have a whole slideshow with that, which I wasn't able to get. But you can see how this could form the basis of a nice Sunday talk. So that's, it's nice to contemplate this, really, because this is where we came from. We belong there. How many times, I once measured, I counted the database, over 600 times, Prabhupada used this phrase, go back home, back to Godhead. Is it? It's very hopeful. We have a home. The home is a place where you'll never be ejected, never be evicted. We think we have a home, but then it can burn up. Then we have to get out. We can always be evicted. And basically, this is our home, this body. So we're all going to be evicted one day, right? But that eternal home where we'll never have to leave, that is Goloka. And that's where we want to go. So one or two more, and then we'll move on to Damodarashtra. And so this one, I don't think any of you heard. I'm going to maybe look at part of it. Okay, this is a nice meditation I did before, but it's a much larger group. So the last one is very sweet. This is a meditation on Krishna. Now, the Bhagavatam is replete with songs of separation from Krishna. Gopis. And one of them is actually called the Gopis when Krishna left the Rasa dance and left the Gopis alone. So one of the favorites of everybody is the Venugit. Venugit means that in the 21st chapter, the end of the rainy season, now it's autumn, and that's the season when the Rasa dance will take place. The Krishna is now goes out into the forest with his friends and the cows, and the Gopis, as always, they're watching him as he goes out, and then they're in separation all day. Separation, which it centers on the flute. A lot of the verses talk about the flute. That's called the Venugit. But before we get to the Venugit, the introductory verses describing the scene, the beautiful forest scene, and Krishna's entering in. That's also a wonderful meditation. So I'll share with you that, I'll just give you a taste of the little Sanskrit poetry, which is exquisite. Randran Veno Abadasudigapu de Gopta Vinda Vrindaranyam Sopatamanam Pravisha Gita Kirti. So I took those two verses and made it into this little poem. And at the end is a benediction verse. Listen for it. Rivers, lakes, and hills ring out charming hums and trill. But before I go on, I'm going to start again. Some of you may not know that the word repair in English can also mean to go. Look it up in the dictionary. Listen for it. Rivers, lakes, and hills ring out with charming hums and trills as flocks of birds and maddened bees rejoice among the flowering trees. To those idyllic woods and glens repairs Govinda with his friends, Sri Rama and the cowboys to taste the most exquisite joys. And as they walk along the way, absorbed in herding and in play, Shri Krishna, beauty absolute, flute. With the peacock plume upon his head and fragrant flower on each ear, he enters Braja's woods with the treads alive, a dancer without peer. His golden yellow raiment glows, his garland reaches to his feet. Nectar flows and fills his flute with melodies. As Krishna thus begins his day with friends who sing his glory sweet, he beautifies the forest way with fine impressions of his feet. Samadhi culminates in this, to always see this scene of bliss within oneself and outside too. May Krishna give this boon to you. Gaur-Premanande, Hari Hari. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hari Hari. So now we'll kind of segue into singing the Damodarashtaka and offering a lot of relax, right? Okay, I'm assuming that's what's scheduled to happen. So I'm going to move into position. Oh, we have this.